Hello everyone. Recently I had a little problem with the Zippo insert, the um, butane one. Um, Now I understand I couldn't find any videos on how to take it apart. It's really tricky. It's got a hidden screw, and I'll show you where that's at in a second. But um, I figured out how to get it apart and fixed it. Mine's already repaired, so it works just fine now. But I'll show you how to take it apart and reassemble it here as we go. Start with what tools we're going to need. We're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, small Phillips screwdriver, small regular screwdriver. A pair of hemostats work best, but you can use pliers, and a pair of tweezers, preferably with real sharp point. This comes in. This actually is important in a later step, and you'll need something to hold your parts. I use an old ashtray that I used to have, and what we'll do here to start with is we start with these bottom two screws, and we'll go ahead and take those out. And all that does is allow you to take this cover off, little metal cover. Now we have the adjustment screw and the fill valve exposed. We're going to need to take, this is where the hidden screw comes in. Flip it over so that the warning label's up with the little window. Okay. If you can see here, see that little dowel pin right there? Well, that you're going to want to hold the latch in place. Just grab it like so, and give this a little push from this side, the little dowel pin. Use a punch or whatever you need. Now flip it over. Again, hold the latch. That way you don't lose it. And this is why I use hemostats, because they'll grab the dowel pin, pull it out a little bit, grab the dowel pin, and slide it out, and it won't let go, and you don't have to worry about losing it. Then, very carefully, because this is spring loaded, let the pressure off of the latch, take the latch out. Then underneath there is a little plastic lever type catch for the latch, and a spring. Normally I would just flip it over in my hand. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but down in this hole is a hidden screw. It's Phillips screw. It's the same size as the two you just took out, but we're going to go ahead and take that out next. Loosen it up, flip it over, take the screw out, and next thing you do is the little screw on the side. That is the last thing that holds it together. So we'll go ahead and take that out. Now this screw is the only one that's a different size from the rest. Make sure you don't get it mixed up with the others. See, I don't think you can, but it's been known to happen. So now that we've got that screw out, I usually just take the pair of the flathead screwdriver, and kind of give it a little tug. Now, it's attached to the hose. The hose will pop off as it comes out. So, it comes out, and mine just happened to come out without the, I think it's going to do that with most of them, without the piezoelectric igniter. I take this lever off. That is the fuel lever, fuel control lever. And right inside here in this window is a little plastic shim. And I lost my first one. I had to replace it with another one I got from a spare parts lighter. Now, if you do need spare parts, go to the dollar store. Dollar store has these barbecue lighters with the long extensions on them, so you can, like, candle lighter type thing. And you can get good piezo's out of those. A lot of hose, the hose that goes inside here, and they're only $1, and they save you a whole bunch of trouble. By the way, taking this apart does void the warranty. Now, for some people, that's no big deal. It's fairly cheap. You just send it back. It takes time. But like in my case, all I had to do was replace a hose, and saved me the trouble of going all day. Now, the piezo is still stuck in here because the igniter wire is in here and it's bent over. Go ahead and straighten that up so that it's pretty close to straight, or you won't get it out very easily. But bend it up until it's pretty much straight. Then just reach in here into the body, grab hold, and mine's a little bit, still needs to get straightened a little bit. There it goes. But there's your piezo igniter, and the button just kind of falls out. Now you're down to see this window. You're going to need to take that out for reassembly. Just go ahead. It's a little plastic cap. It exposes the hose that's connected to the nozzle at this point. We're going to go ahead and take, this is where the sharp pair of tweezers comes into play, because I don't have a spanner wrench that'll fit this just right. But it's not usually very tight, so you see how the outer ring has these little holes? Well, I take the tweezers and I stick them into those holes, not very hard, just a little lightly, and then give it a twist and start turning it, and then it will just unscrew and come out of the body. And when it's done, take that, and you see that's the hose that I had to replace, so on mine. But there's your nozzle with the hose. Go ahead and take that apart. Put it in your small parts tray. Do not take this nozzle apart. You can, however, take it and soak it in alcohol to clean it up. Now, on the outside of the nozzle holds it in place, is the ceramic element that it's got the ceramic element that shrouds the fire. And then you have your steel body, completely empty of all all items. Then go back to the tank. Go ahead, and you're going to want to do this if you're having problems with the height of your flame. But there's an O-ring. You take off the adjuster screw, and then if you can see it, there's a washer down in here that wraps around the outside of this. That little lever right here has stops at it here and on this side, so that it only travels so far. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kind of lightly lift that up. You're going to have to work it back and forth from either side to lift it up. Doesn't usually take too much of an effort to come off, but depends on how much use it's had. Mine's had quite a bit. You don't want to take that off, and I'll show you why when we reassemble. And there it is, little washer. Now, I choose not to take the fill valve out, nor do I take the adjustment screw or the flow valve out. I leave those in. You're not going to usually run into problems with them. They're internal, so most of their problems, you're not going to have problems with them. But if you need to, you can use a spanner wrench or the tweezers and put them in these little grooves and unscrew them and take them out. No problem. Now, I'm going to go ahead and lay all these out for us so that we can see them all laid out. And then I'll get right back to you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I've laid out all the parts. We've got the one small screw, 3 larger screws, the dowel pin, the latch, the catch for the latch, the spring for that. We've got the washer for the adjustment and the keeper. It's an O-ring. Then we got our hose, our nozzle, and our shroud. We've got our button, our piezo igniter, our rubber plastic washer, whatnot. It goes underneath. Our window cover, our valve release, our tank, and our lower cover. What we're going to start with, okay, we're going to take the tank, and we'll start with by taking the plastic washer, and we will drop it in the window. And from there, we take the igniter, slide it on, down in there, take the fuel valve release lever, and we put it, got to tilt it down, let it slide underneath, let it slide down so that it sits like that around the outside of there. Take the button, slide it down over the top of the igniter. Okay. Now take the body. We're gonna go ahead and there's, as you can see, there's two holes there. One of which is where the nozzle goes, and the little hole here on the side is where the igniter wire goes. So feed the case, the tank into the case, getting the igniter wire. It's kind of tricky, but it's not too bad. If you need to, just go through here, through the window, and line it up with the hole, with our hole. And sorry, I got a little out of frame there. I'm not going to back up to redo it. We need to see what's going on here. Let's try that. That might help us a little bit. Okay. There we go. Now I can see it, and I don't know where to go this time. There we go. Right up in that hole. Now the first screw we're going to put in is the hidden screw. It's one of the larger ones. Just go ahead and drop it down in the hole and screw it into place. Don't tighten it down too tight because you are screwing into plastic and you will strip it. So then we take the side screw, which is the little screw, and we go ahead and screw that in. Make sure it's straight before tighten, because it will cross thread easily. Just give it a little tightening. Okay. At this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the spring for the latch, put it in the hole, take the catch for it, slide it down on there, and then take the latch itself, and it goes, if you're looking at it, you're going to want to be sitting here like this. The pointed end part is going to go toward the outside of the unit. Then we take the dowel pin. Now this dowel pin has little, so that it don't come out easily. It's got these little grooves on it. You're going to want those to be on your side and the smooth side go in. Just kind of put it in place. I kind of just take a punch or back of the screwdriver, stick it through. But it'll snap in place just like so. And your latch is working just fine. Now we take set that down for a moment. Take the nozzle, take the hose, attach the hose to the nozzle. Slide it over in place. Okay. Take the nozzle, put it through the shroud. Then the shroud has a little tiny hole for the igniter wire, and we're going to want to slide that down over the igniter wire very carefully, because you will push that wire back down into the body and have to try to fish it out or take it apart in order to get to it. Again, can be a tight fit, but mine's in place. We take our tweezers, take our nozzle. If you look, it kind of it doesn't automatically line up. It's not a straight shot. It's a little offset. So we'll take the nozzle and kind of line it up with the valve inside there. Now give it a couple turns. I need to back it off because I didn't line it up right. Line it up so the hose does sit on that. Now twist it into place. Tighten up the oops. There we go. That's better. And thread the nozzle down. It's going to kind of push the hose onto the valve, if you can see that. Hope so. And you can tell that it's just a little bit offset. Now, just make sure you give that just a little snug so it doesn't come out on you. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to adjust our ignition wire. Take it, bend it over, and kind of just put it in place for the moment. And we'll go to the bottom. Now, take your adjustment screw, set it to where you want it normally. A little more adjusting on the ignition wire. Make sure the spark gets where it needs to be. But now this is normally set about 3/4 of an inch. I usually use it a little higher. It runs out of fluid a little faster that way, but I don't mind. A little more adjusting. Now you want it to, the fire to, you want to set it to about 3/4 of an inch. Now, mine's pretty much set. You're going to want to take the adjustment ring. Now there is two sides to this. If you look, one's got like a sharp edge and one's got like a rounded edge. The sharp edge will go down, but set that approximately center where it's at and center of your adjustment area, and go ahead and work it down so that it slides down on the adjustment screw. There we go. Slide it all the way down and put our O-ring over the top of it. That'll give you plenty of adjustment either way. Now we take the cover, go ahead and put the cover on, markings facing up. Take the screws, get the screws in place. Again, be careful not to cross thread and don't over tighten. And then we have the cover, and it just snaps into place. And oh, mine may be out of blue. Oh, there it goes. But back to working. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's informative enough to help you on your endeavor. You have a great day. Thank you very much.